Yeah, good afternoon everyone. It is such a wonderful day to be here. I am Zaka Indonesia and I'll be your host in this talk show. So now we will be discussing about the recent floods and landslides that is happening in Sumatera. These disasters have caused damages to infrastructure, disrupted economic activities, and affected many local communities. I am here joined by the two administration public students, Nazwa and Hani. And thank you for joining this discussion. Alright, so in recent days, heavy rainfall has triggered floods and landslides in parts of Sumatra. Roads were blocked, houses were damaged, and many residents had to be evacuated. These events raised serious questions about disaster preparedness and government response. Nazwa, what is your opinion about the recent floods and landslides in Sumatra?
Thank you, Nusa. So, in my opinion, the recent floods and landslides in Sumatra shows that environmental and administrative issues are closely connected. Okay, heavy rainfall is a natural factor, but deforestation and poor land use planning have increased the severity of this disaster. Therefore, I believe this even should be seen as a governance problem, not only a natural one.
Alright, so you believe that human and policy factor play a major role? Alright.
Of course.
So now, Hani, do you agree with Nazwa's opinion?
Sure, I agree. The floods and landslides did not happen suddenly without warning. In many areas, drainage systems are not good and hillside settlements are poorly regulated. From my point of view, better planning and stricter environmental policies could reduce disaster risk significantly.
Well, that finally led us to the role of public administration. So, Nazwa, can you explain how public administration is involved in handling these recent floods and landslides?
Okay, that was a really good question, Nusa. So, certainly, public administration is responsible for disaster mitigation, emergency response, and post-disaster recovery. During the recent floods and landslides, government institutions manage evacuation, distributed aid, and coordinated with local authorities. If coordination is weak, assistance may be delayed and communities may suffer longer, and that's not good for us.
Yes, that means administration effectiveness directly affect public safety. So, Hani, how would you evaluate the government response to these recent floods and landslides?
So, in my opinion, the emergency response was relatively quick in some areas. However, there were still problems, such as uneven aid distribution and limited access to affected locations. These challenges indicate that disaster response systems still need improvement, especially at the local level.
Alright, so here let's take a break for a while and let's reflect. Floods and landslides may occur every year. They are predictable actually, yet their impacts remain very severe. These show that preparedness and prevention are still insufficient. So before we can conclude, I would like to ask one final question. Nazwa, what lesson should we learn from these recent floods and landslides in Sumatra?
The main lessons is that disaster management must be proactive and integrated. Environmental protection, spatial planning, and community education should be prioritized. If these aspects are ignored, similar disasters will continue to happen and we don't know what we have to do.
Thank you, Nazwa. Now let's get to Hani. What is your final thought?
I believe floods and landslides are not only natural disasters, but also social issues. The government and society must work together to reduce vulnerability. Public awareness and strong policies are essential for long-term resilience.
Well, that's wonderful. And thank you to Nazwa and Hani for finally could give your insightful opinions. That is wonderful. And thank you to everyone who has been watching this talk show. We hope this discussion increase an awareness about the importance of effectiveness disaster management, especially in dealing with floods and landslides in Sumatra. See you next time and goodbye!